Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the Six of Swords. And this has everything to do with science and really logical thinking. Not letting anything kind of get one over on you. That's what I think of with this card. You shall not be fooled. All right, let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. You can hear the cats meowing away. Now, shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. My husband Paul over there, amazing tarot reader. Go check him out. But I know that you hear the cats mewing it up during his videos. I don't know. He's probably said in his readings, and I've said before too, there's a long hallway outside of our little offices here, and they meow in this particular hallway in the house. Because, and I'm trying to figure this out, but I think this is why. Because their voices echo when they meow, and it goes like through the whole downstairs. And I'm starting to think that Pudgy might be an opera singer. All right, let's take a look at this one right here. We have, it looks like a person with antlers, to me, or horns, I should say as well. To me, it looks like a satyr, kind of a Pan figure. So we have a wilderness deity, a wilderness creature, right? Humanoid, of course. And so to me, this usually indicates there is a sense of being drawn to the wild. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh yeah, I'm going to go out to the woods and live in a tree necessarily, although that sounds pretty cool. I do feel like there is a sense of, I like being so wrapped up in the work, right? And your career, household stuff, domestic stuff, the tedium of the mundane, right? We all know that feeling, just absolutely day in and day out. That's what we're focused on. Well, I feel that there is a sense of, okay, now it's time for me to let go of, the kind of chokehold I have on this part of my life, and returning to some aspects of my less inhibited side, okay? So I almost imagine like things like going dancing, right? Going to a festival, dancing, maybe partaking in a little bit of that bacchanalian celebration. Going out, to the woods, maybe camping a little bit. Maybe going to some kind of retreat where you are going to be, doing some kind of spiritual work or some kind of learning. You could be going, I don't know, to learning breathing exercises or yoga or, I don't know, maybe like an art retreat or something like this. It's outside of your normal routine, okay? Now, as a Capricorn, not an easy task, right? Now, I'm a Capricorn ascendant, so I feel like I'm strongly influenced by my Capricorn energy. And I know it can be very hard to put down whatever we're doing, right? and go do this other thing. It can be frustrating. Even if it's something you're really looking forward to, when we get into that mode of, okay, now I'm transitioning into this little break I have. Maybe you have a few days off of work. Maybe you're going on a little vacation or a retreat or some kind of, I don't know, maybe, what do they call those, staycations? Like, staying by the house, taking some time, doing a little housework or yard work or whatever. But it is a reprieve from the normal routine. And, looking forward to it. But when it starts to happen, you can start to feel like, okay, I don't know, I'm going to get behind. I don't know. Maybe I could actually just, take this little moment to do some extra work. I have some time off. Maybe I'll just, I don't know, get some extra things done, and then I'll be, ahead when I go back to work. And yeah, it's just, this is the mind of a Capricorn. We're always thinking, how can we put a little more time into what we need a break from? So I feel like this is like, absolutely, it's calling for you. Now, if we turn it this way, we have the same kind of wilderness deity right here. You can see the horns or the antlers running towards, look, it almost looks like the boogeyman. We have these two people running this way. Now, we also have a bird over here. So I do feel like there is resistance, okay? But I know, I don't even have to think about it. I know that you need a break. I know that you need something switched up. It's just, the repetitive nature of it all, I think, just becomes too much at times. And it can feel really good to get that reset. So even though it's against your instinct, and even if you have, planned this whole thing out, and now it's coming up and you're thinking, well, I don't really know. If, maybe I should just, kind of call it off, and I'll keep working, and, we'll get caught up and whatever. Take the time. Allow yourself that. Even if it is uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to sit in our discomfort. But we need that thing where it's like a forced break. Now, not forced by somebody else, right? Forced by you. And listen, I didn't film yesterday. I usually film reading 7 days a week. Even while sick, which you've heard. I continue to film while sick. And that's part of my Capricorn nature. But even yesterday, we had a party for my daughter for her birthday. And it was really hard. There were moments where I was quite literally thinking about, we had all these people coming, and I thought, well, I have like 5 minutes. Maybe if I just go film, for, each reading takes about 30, 40 minutes to even more sometimes if it's a long reading. But there's setup and transition between and all of that. So it could even take up to an hour per reading. And, but my mind, it was like this itch in my mind, and I just wanted to scratch it so bad. Let me just go record real quick. Well, I couldn't. I just didn't have the time. And it was hard. But you know what? Now I feel better that I did it. I got to be focused on what was going on. And so sometimes we do. We have to just, stop running away from that feeling of, no, I could do more. No, I need to put more time into this. No, I can't take a break right now. And then you look back and you think, I haven't taken a break in, a year, 2 years. When's the last time you went on vacation? When's the last time you took off a few days for no reason, right? You don't, like, doctor's appointments or illness or, whatever, some kind of circumstances in the family or what have you. When is the last time you just took some time off because you needed it, right? Probably has been a while. I get that feeling, has been a while. Now, we have this bird, and I want to talk about when I was getting ready to do this reading, I had this very distinct imagery in my head. And now it is not a full picture, but there are fragments that seem so clear to me. And that is an older man, okay? An older man, a grandfather. It feels like it's maybe not your grandfather, but this is a person who is a grandfather, and that's something that they're showing me is important to them. It's one of their big identifiers. Not that they're a father, but they're a grandfather. This is like one of the great joys of their life. They're very proud of this. And the thing that I kept seeing, and I know this is so strange, but they were showing me the collar of their shirt. And I got the impression that they always wore kind of button-up shirts, often white, or almost like a not checkered, like kind of a checkered maybe, or what is that called with the lines that kind of they go over, on like a men's casual kind of button-up shirt. And their collar, it's something about trying to keep their collars like ironed straight so they don't curl. And it seems like, I don't know why they keep showing it to me. And I was trying to figure that out. Was it something that they were trying to learn how to do, or they didn't know how to iron, or they had to learn at some point? I don't know, but they were showing me their collar, and there's just a sense of this person being right near you. I mean, just in these last few weeks, at least, they've been right there with you. And I just feel like it's like you sense them, but I don't know if you know, if you exactly knew who it was. But I also had this feeling that, and I've talked about this in some of the readings, is that for me, I can smell intelligences or things that are psychically coming through when I'm about to be visited by somebody or something, especially when I'm going to dream about them. I can smell them before they show up, or maybe they've shown up, but I'm not perceiving them clearly yet. And this one, I almost wonder if they were if they worked on a farm or in farm country, because I can smell that farming smell. It's not the manure smell, but the soil turned up. And if you ever lived in farm country or have been in farm country during the spring, especially, when they're getting ready to plant the fields, you'll know that smell. It's like a dirt that has been turned up after a long winter. It's a real soily smell. So anyways, I'm smelling that smell, and I'm wondering, I think it's like they lived out in the country, possibly. So anyways, they're coming through, and they really, it just was so vivid right before I started. I had to share it. And when I saw the bird, I thought, okay, so they really, this is where they want me to talk about them. Now, we have the number 2 coming through here in a few places. We have 2, 2, and a 2 here. So the number 2 seems pretty important there. Now, we also have a person who is holding a cup, and they are gazing into it. Okay, so this is about our emotions. This is the Ace of Cups is what you could think of as the Holy Grail, right? The vessel of the waters of life. And those waters are the ingredient that brings things to manifest, right? So if you can think of the soils, that's the material. You add the water, right? And it begins to take form. And then of course we need the fires, right? The fires or the current of electricity, which flows through all things, animating them, okay? So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, there is this sense of kind of a really growing emotional intelligence surrounding something. I'm trying to think, what do we have? I almost wonder if this is... I feel like it's about an animal, possibly. Because I'm seeing this almost looks like a cat that's like playing, right? So I almost kind of feel like, and not to say that you don't like animals, but I almost kind of feel like you weren't particularly into animals, you know, having companionship with a dog or a cat or, you know, I don't know, a rat or a lizard or whatever it is. But I feel like there's a particular animal that you have such a fondness for, and it has opened your heart. Absolutely. And I feel that there's such a connection there that you did not expect to happen. This is not something you had planned on, not at all. But I do feel like, yeah, there's this growing sense of a lot of care there. And maybe even kind of opening these little doors in your heart that you didn't even know were there to be opened. And so, yeah, I do feel like there's a sense of like a great shift in, well, it feels like a friendship, right? Like, I feel like this is a companion. You look forward to seeing them. Now, it might be that you're feeding an animal that lives outside, or maybe you have recently you know, been given an animal to take care of. You weren't planning on getting one, but somebody asked you, hey, can you take care of this cat or this puppy that I have? I can't keep it, you know, and you kind of begrudgingly do so, but it totally grows on you. You know, it kind of reminds me of that whole trope of like, you know, like the parent that says, no, I'm not gonna, you know, their kid wants to bring home this cat that they found or something. They say, no, we're not having a cat in this house. Well, then the cat ends up in the house anyways. And, you know, by the end of the day, or, you know, after a while anyways, the parent is the one that is fully like immersed in kind of this love entanglement with the animal, right? And you see these videos where it's like, my dad said no to this dog, and then you know, pretty soon later it's the dog is like, you know, laying on the dad on the couch and he's feeding him or something, you know, and it's like they absolutely are bonded. Okay, so I do feel like it's kind of this energy, and yeah, it feels like a wonderful, wonderful companionship. Now, right in the center, we have the deer. Okay, this is a young deer, and so I feel that this is a sacredness in your life. There is a vibrance. There is these quiet moments of awe happening. And I feel like a lot of this is why you are going through this period of time where it's like, okay, I need to have a break. I don't want to take a break, but I kind of have to pull myself away from this probably somewhat rigid routine that you have, because there's an opportunity here for you to experience something that's calling out for you. And I think that really, as you take this little break, or you have this day off or these days off, keep aware, be present, in the things that you're doing, because there will be some kind of messaging for you. And it will be something that maybe doesn't seem profound to others, but to you, I think it will be like a clear sign, okay? Something coming through. Okay, so we have two people here, and it looks like they both have their arms extended, almost like they're calling out. Pointing or calling, I think it's calling out too. Now we also have, it looks like, the goat right here. So we have the definite sign of Capricorn. And we have the letter N over here, calling out to N. Now, I feel like this is a person, maybe a person's name. This is emotional. There's a lot of emotional waters here. Now, I poured them into the bowl because I need to turn this. But a lot of emotional... I almost wonder if this is somebody who passed. And I wonder if they also were a Capricorn, if this is a family member that was a Capricorn. Because there's this feeling of like almost they left too soon, like abruptly. Maybe an accident of some kind or something where it just, I don't know, where it just all of a sudden they were gone. And I feel like it's not only you, but it's, you know, the family weeping for. Now, I don't think this is current. I think this is an old thing. And I wonder if this is part of why there's like this, you have a resistance to leaving your routine. Because it's things like this that come up when you are outside of doing that repetitive work. And I wonder... And I wonder, you know, it's kind of, and this makes sense to me. If I am not doing what I know, and I can already anticipate exactly what's going to be happening, then I might have this room for the sadness to creep back in. And I think that's a lot of what it has to do with. Now I see there is a llama here, sitting, resting. We also have a goldfish and a rooster. So I feel like there is a sense of like, yes, this is true. These things might come back in, but we can't avoid. Okay, we just can't. Nothing. It will never leave. Like it doesn't. We don't just get to forget things, right? Now, sometimes, yeah, it can be so all-consuming that you know, it disrupts your life completely. I don't think it's exactly that, but I think it's almost kind of like you keep putting off your grieving, even though I think this is an old thing. Like, I mean, years ago, maybe. But I think that there's almost kind of this, and we have that rooster, it's the alarm. It's going off. It's saying to me, if you are not giving yourself space to rest and also be kind of silly, jovial in some ways about things, letting go of the need to be so serious all the time, there's trouble, right? Not only is it just hard to live that way always, it can be bad for your health. I mean, really, the stress of it. And so there is a sense of this, like, letting go a little bit. Letting go just a little bit. Now, the goldfish to me tells me that as you allow yourself a little bit of a reprieve, and yeah, it might kind of open the door to things, emotional things coming up. this will lead to something that will be profound for you. This is something that will shift even, and with the goldfish, it's like a prosperity there. I think it's almost kind of like having a little bit of a switch of perspective. And not even maybe in the way that you're living now, everything seems perfect. As finely tuned and run life as possible. But with a little slight change of perspective, you might realize that there is some room here. There's some room. And I think ultimately it's really about doing some other things, and that's what I keep feeling like this leisure, experiencing life, different things in life than what you're used to, so that you can gain inspiration and a wider view of things. And I think that's a really important thing, because as a Capricorn, sometimes really good at like figuring out like this setup in life and your beliefs and your dogma and all this kind of thing. And it's, transitioning away from or having a shift can feel painful, right? When you realize something that you've believed, not that it's untrue, but that, hey, there might be other perspectives, or this might not be exactly how I think it is, or, whatever. That can be destabilizing, or we fear that it will be destabilizing. But I do think that, this is a time. Take that break. Just do something, even if it's for one day, right? Just go do something that you weren't planning to do. Or if you did plan it, go on that vacation, okay? Don't find a reason to get out of it, especially if it's work. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to do our Wild Offering Oracle and Oracle cards. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll just flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. Yes. Here we go. True love, the wholeness and safety lie within. Not from a partner, but this sovereignty actually leads to the deepest intimacy for you to stop using others. Let me stand on my own feet, dear Lord, and know true love. Let me stand on my own feet, dear Lord, and know true love. Yeah, that's one of my favorite cards of this Oracle deck. It's so important. I'm not going to say that you can't love other people unless you love yourself. I don't know if that's true or not, but people say it. I think that's a little bit, it's very reductive, right? But I do think it is so important for us to, first of all, spend some time just being as an adult. Let me just say, as an adult, it's important for us to spend some time just being with ourselves. Okay. Not dating or being married or whatever. If you have the opportunity to live alone, to be without any kind of connection romantically to others, take it. It can feel lonely. It can feel, daunting, or like it will never end. But I promise you, if you spend that time being in a relationship with yourself, like you've been or you want to be with somebody else, the evolution that happens is amazing. This is what I call it, just courting self, right? Dating yourself. The love that evolves from it. The love that's there, but it's like, I don't know, we're conditioned not to love ourselves. And, it's, of course, we all want partners, or we want to have people around us, or, have at least connections where people care for us and we care for them. But learning to be alone, but not lonely, or maybe a little bit lonely, but being in that loneliness, right? It is a superpower. Absolutely. And I do believe that in that time, as we grow our love, and it's a complex love that we have for ourselves, we start to almost admit an energy that draws in people that are similar to our own state of being, right? We're like a lighthouse. And you start to bring in the kinds of people that will match the energy. You both have the same kind of love. And then you might find a partner. Maybe you won't. But I think at that point, it doesn't really matter. And that's when we find the people that are most important to our lives. I really fully believe that. I mean, that's my experience anyways. When I met my husband, I had fully not just given, it wasn't that I gave up on love. I still believed in love, but I did not need somebody. I did not want somebody necessarily. I was happy in my life. I had my cats. I did my thing. I was, just in my own world, living like a hermit. Pretty good. No, I had my challenges, of course. But then I met my husband and, of course, it took years though, but how could I say no to Paul? Shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My husband, Paul, over there, amazing. If you've seen his videos, his energy is just amazing, amazing, amazing. And if you haven't seen his tarot readings, go check out Dove and Serpent Tarot. But yeah, I think because I was in that place, it allowed me the ability to not only go slow in my relationship with him, but to maintain the relationship I have with myself. And, I don't know, I'm a superstitious person, so I do believe the universe has blessed me deeply with my family and my, just the course of my career and everything else. A lot of it because of that time. And, that might not make sense in a logical sense, but it does to me. It really does. So anyways, yeah, true love with nothing better than a love affair with yourself. Okay. So anyways, Capricorn, I'm going to tell you, I love you. And I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel. If you haven't subscribed, think about doing that. It is free to subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean the world to me. I love hearing from you all. And yeah, and with that, I will go ahead and tell you again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk real soon. And good night.